Your soulmate wants to stay with you forever, but there's one condition: this isn't a coincidence that you seeing this right now. Somewhere tonight, on the other side of a city you don't live in, your person sat down at the edge of their bed and said it out loud, not to you, but to themselves. I want to stay. I want to stay with her forever. But I can't keep doing it like this. The lamp was on. The room was too quiet. Their phone was face down on the comforter beside them, and the small weight of that decision pressed down on their chest like something they'd been carrying for months without naming. They want to stay with you. Forever. Truly. But there's one condition, and it's the thing they've been afraid to say since the day they realized they loved you. Now breathe. Because what I am about to tell you isn't a prediction, and it isn't a fantasy. It's a real shift happening inside someone who's been pretending, to themselves, mostly, that they had more time to figure this out. They don't. And quietly, in their own way, they started to know that too. You felt it, haven't you? That low hum underneath your days. The feeling that someone is missing you in a room you never been in. The feeling that you not the only one lying awake on the nights you can't sleep. That feeling isn't random. That feeling is the truth your nervous system already knows, even when your mind tries to be reasonable about it. So let me tell you what's actually happening on their side. Not the version they post about. Not the version they admit to their closest friend. The real one, the quiet, unguarded one that's been moving through them like weather for the last few weeks. It started small. You probably wouldn't have noticed. They wouldn't have noticed either, at first. It started with a Tuesday evening. Nothing special. They were driving home from somewhere they didn't want to be, work, a friend's place, somewhere with too much noise and not enough of the kind of silence they actually needed. The sun was doing that thing where it slants low and gold across windshields and makes you feel softer than you mean to be. A song came on. Not a song you two shared, exactly. Just a song that sounded like the way you laugh. And they had to pull over. They didn't cry. They not the kind of person who cries easily. They just sat there with their hands on the steering wheel, engine still running, and they thought, not in words, but in something deeper than words, what am I doing? That was the first crack. Subtle. The kind of moment you forget if it didn't keep coming back. But it kept coming back. And then came the night I want to tell you about. It was late. They were home. Alone. Doing that thing people do when they avoiding their own thoughts. Scrolling, watching something, eating without tasting it. And someone, a friend, a sibling, someone close enough to be honest, said something to them in passing. I'll tell you exactly what was said. Because the words matter. The person said, you talk about her like she's already gone, right? Like you already decided. And your person went still. The kind of still where your whole body listens but pretends it isn't. Their thumb stopped moving on the screen. Their jaw tightened, that small reflex they have when something hits too close. They didn't answer right away. They tried to laugh it off. The laugh didn't land. And then they said something they didn't mean to say out loud. They said, I don't want her to be gone. I just don't know how to be the person she needs me to be. That was the moment. That was the moment they finally admitted to someone, even if it was the wrong someone, even if it slipped out before they could pull it back, that they don't want this distance. They never wanted it. They built it because they were scared. And now they're standing inside a life that has your shape carved out of it, and they can feel the cold coming through the hole. If this message is finding you at the right moment, comment, I received this love, like the video, and subscribe. There's more coming for you. Now, about that condition. Because I told you there was one, and I don't want you sitting with that open question for longer than you need to. The condition isn't something they want from you. It's not a demand. It's not a test. It's not them saying, I'll stay if she changes. That's the kind of thing immature love asks for, and this isn't that. This is something else. The condition is something they replacing on themselves. They quietly realized, and it's only really hit them in the last few weeks, that they can't keep loving you the way they been loving you. Halfway, from behind a wall, with one hand on the door. They been telling themselves that they were being careful, being smart, protecting both of you. But what they were actually doing was protecting themselves from the size of what they feel for you. And the condition is this: they have to stop hiding from it. That's it. That's the whole thing. They have to stop pretending that what they feel is smaller than it is. They have to stop telling themselves the story that it would be easier without you. They have to stop running from the version of their life where you in it, fully, deeply, with no soft exits. Because the truth is, they already tried the alternative. They already lived weeks, maybe months, of the without you version. And it didn't feel like freedom. It felt like a room with the lights off. Have you felt that on your side? That strange quiet where you wonder if you imagined the whole thing? You didn't imagine it. Let me bring you back to them. Because what happened next was the part they didn't see coming. A few days after that conversation, the one where the words slipped out, they were doing something completely ordinary. Looking for a charger, maybe. Cleaning out a drawer. The kind of small Sunday task you do when you trying to feel in control of something. And they found something of yours. It wasn't anything big. It might have been a hair tie. A receipt with your handwriting on it. A note you left them a long time ago that they forgot they kept. A small thing. The kind of thing you think they would have thrown out months ago, if they were really as done as they pretended to be. They held it in their hand for a long time. And here's the part one want you to really hear, because this is the second moment, the one that actually moved the needle. While they were sitting there, holding that small piece of you, their phone buzzed. They almost didn't look, but they did. And it was a message from someone they hadn't talked to in a while, someone who knew you both, someone from that part of their life when you were a we and not a was. The message said, "Hey, random, I had a dream about your name last night. Hope you doing okay." That's it. That was the whole message. But for them, sitting on the floor of their bedroom with a piece of your handwriting in one hand and that text glowing in the other, it didn't feel random. It felt like the universe leaning in close and whispering, "Are you really going to keep pretending?" They sat there for a long time. The light in the room changed. They didn't reply to the message right away. They didn't reach out to you either, not yet. But something in them shifted. That was when the question changed. Up until that night, the question in their head had been, how do I move on? They'd been treating you like a problem to solve. Like a door they needed to close more firmly. Like grief they could outwork or outrun if they just stayed busy enough. But sitting there, with that handwriting and that text and that absurdly soft Sunday light, the question changed to, what if I was wrong about needing to move on at all? And that question is louder, even now, than they want to admit. If this resonates, let it settle in you. Don't rush it. You don't have to do anything with it yet. Let me tell you what they've been replaying. There's a specific memory that keeps coming back to them. Not the big ones. Not the obvious ones. Not the first kiss or the trip or the night everything almost broke. Those memories visit them too, but they not the ones that hurt. The one that hurts is small. It's a memory of you, sitting across from them, somewhere ordinary, a kitchen, maybe, or a booth in a restaurant, and you said something honest. Something gentle. Something like, I just want you to actually be here with me. And they didn't know what to say. So they made a joke. Or they changed the subject. Or they nodded and looked at their phone. They remember the look on your face when they did that. They didn't think they remembered it. But they do. They remember the way the light caught the edge of your jaw when you looked away. They remember the way you exhaled. Not angry, not even sad. Just a little smaller than you were a minute before. That's the memory that wakes them up at 2 a.m. That's the one they take back if they could take any of them back. Because they understand now what they were too defended to understand then. You weren't asking them for more than they could give. You were asking them to give what they already had. And they hid it. They kept the best parts of themselves locked behind a door they weren't ready to open, and they let you wonder if those parts were ever really there. You wondered, didn't you? You wondered if you were imagining the depth of what was between you. You wondered if you were the only one who felt it that strongly. You wondered if maybe you were too much, or too sensitive, or too quick to love. You weren't. They felt it too. They feel it now. They've just been on a longer road to admitting it. And here's what I want you to understand about where they are emotionally, really understand, not just abstractly. They not in chaos. They not falling apart. They not lying on the floor sobbing. The cinematic version of regret isn't what's happening on their side, and I don't want to lie to you and tell you it is. What's happening is quieter than that, and somehow heavier. They moving through their days. They functioning. They laughing at things, eating dinner, going to work, talking to people. But underneath all of it, there's a low constant hum, and the hum is you. It's the second cup of coffee they don't drink because you used to drink yours from the other one. It's the way they hesitate before posting anything online, because they know you might see it. It's the way they keep almost typing your name into their phone and then putting it down. It's the way they catch themselves wondering, in the middle of nothing, what is she doing right now? And on your side, and this is the part the universe wants you to feel, you've been doing the exact same thing in the exact same silence. Two people, same night, different rooms, both staring at ceilings, both pretending the other one has already moved on, both wrong about each other in the same gentle, terrible way. Have you noticed how often you've thought about them this week without meaning to? That isn't random either. There's a passage in scripture that says, love is patient, love is kind, it always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. I am not bringing it up to preach. I am bringing it up because the word that matters here is perseveres. Real connection doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it just refuses to die quietly, even when both people are trying to let it. That's what's happening here. What's beginning to shift inside them now isn't dramatic. It isn't a grand gesture brewing. It isn't a midnight text coming in the next 10 minutes. I want to be honest with you, because too many channels promise you fireworks and leave you waiting for a phone that doesn't ring. What's happening is slower, and, in a way, more real. They starting to imagine a version of themselves that doesn't need to keep proving they fine without you. They starting to imagine what it would feel like to actually say it. I miss you. I've missed you the whole time. I was wrong about what I needed to do. They haven't said it yet, but the words are forming. They sitting at the back of their throat the way words do before they finally become brave enough to come out. And the condition, the one I told you about at the start, is finally beginning to be met. They are slowly, hesitantly, beginning to stop hiding from what they feel. Not in one moment, not in one grand decision. In small, stubborn, deeply human ways. The way they paused before deleting an old photo and didn't delete it. The way they listened to that song twice instead of skipping it. The way they let themselves say your name out loud in an empty room and didn't flinch. If you've felt this shift too, you already understand. Now, here's the part that's only for you. You don't have to do anything with this information. You don't have to reach out. You don't have to wait by your phone. You don't have to put your life on hold for a moment that hasn't fully arrived yet. The worst thing you could do right now is collapse your own life into a waiting room. What you can do, what the universe is actually asking of you in this moment, is something much smaller and much more powerful. Stop closing the door on them inside your own heart. You've been doing it, haven't you? Out of self-protection. Out of pride. Out of the exhaustion that comes from loving someone who didn't seem to be reaching back. You've been quietly, day by day, training yourself to feel nothing when you think of them, building a calm around the shape of them, telling your friends you're fine now, and maybe you are fine. There's nothing wrong with being fine, but somewhere underneath the fine, there's a softer truth, and the softer truth is that you never really wanted to stop loving them. You just wanted to stop hurting about them. Those are two different things. You're allowed to stop hurting and still leave a door cracked open for what's true. Because here's what I know, with the kind of certainty I don't usually speak in, what is between the two of you isn't done. It hasn't burned out. It hasn't quietly faded. It's been in a holding pattern, the way some things are when both people are growing into the version of themselves the love is actually asking for. And right now, on their side, they are doing that growing. Slowly, imperfectly, with more silence than action, for now. But they redoing it. The condition is meeting itself. And when it does, when they stopped hiding from what they feel, they will come toward you. Not to perform. Not to win you back with a speech. They'll come toward you the way people come towards something they finally stopped being afraid of, a little nervous, a little quieter than usual, with their whole chest open and nothing in their hands. And on that day, the version of you that will meet them won't be the wounded version, won't be the bracing, for impact version, won't be the one who has rehearsed all the things she would say if she ever got the chance. It'll be the version of you that has been quietly held by something larger than both of you for this entire season. The version that has done her own growing in her own silence. The version that knows her own worth so clearly that she doesn't need a single word from them to feel whole. That's the version of you that gets to receive what's coming. So tonight, if you lying in bed wondering if any of this is real, if you wondering whether they ever really felt it, whether they ever really think about you, whether the connection you remember actually existed, let me leave you with this. They awake right now too. Not every night, but more than they ever tell you. And on the nights they staring at the same ceiling you are, listening to the same kind of silence, asking the same question into the dark. Is she thinking about me right now? You are. And so is she. So is he. So are they. The hum you've been feeling isn't loneliness. It's recognition. It's the sound of two people missing each other on opposite sides of the same night, neither one knowing the other is doing it, and both of them being known anyway, by the same gentle force that brought you to this video at this exact hour. You weren't supposed to scroll past this. You were supposed to feel this. And what they beginning to realize now, is something they can't walk away from anymore. Not this time.